Huh.
That was verification.
Your third eye. That's your third eye.
Yaar, mat kar.
Yes. There's like spiritual and religious and people who have kind of done this consciously, and then people whose experiences that I've heard that have done it through chemical shortcuts, which is like, you know,
DMT,
like psychedelics.
huh?
Psychedelics.
See, my argument with psychedelics is, although I understand some of the arguments that they're presenting, lekin agar aap, if you're tapping into the spiritual side of your brain, you're still providing psychedelics or some sort of a drug to articulate the thinking process.
But then calling it a drug is where you challenge the definition of the word, right?
I'm sure, but is it not one?
It's not addictive. It's not.
Okay, I'm not talking about addiction. I'm talking about, does it play with the way you think?
It's psychoactive.
But there it is.
I mean, a narcotic would be like, I mean, from an Islamic perspective, there's a hadith that says, it's not a hadith, it's actually in the Quran. It says, anything that makes you want to do it more again and again is what you need to stop doing, right? Psychedelics don't do that. So then it doesn't become a drug in that definition of the word. A drug could be a medical thing from the perspective of medical drugs.
Right.
And then if it's a narcotic, then it's only because the government called it to be illegal. And psychedelics were made illegal, and the whole narrative of psychedelics being bad for you were spread during the Haight-Ashbury, like Vietnam War, when the hippies came out and said all we are saying is give peace a chance movement, where they were anti-government. So Nixon just kind of went like, इनको बंद करो, ये LSD कर रहे हैं और इनको peace पसंद है अब. So I kind of like, so for me it's a gray area in that it's not a drug. I'm trying to figure out how to describe it or define it myself. But if you can consciously do it, there's nothing better, right?
Absolutely.
You don't need any.
And this is what a lot of people do actually. The monks do it around the world. They have reached the level of peacefulness where, they don't require any worldly pleasures. For example, I feel like all of these guys have a Sufi sense to them. Sufi is like it's like towards the, like it's about religion and all, but I'm talking about not religion. I'm talking about peacefulness. I'm talking about greater energy. I'm talking about,
Sufism has that hal ki state, na? They call it the hal state, where they kind of spin around. Yeah. I went
right there. That's it.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, I'm big into that.
So that hal state is kind of interesting as well.
That's actually a portrait of Shams.
Oh.
Yeah, a depiction of Shams.
Very nice.
Have you read Shams and Rumi?
I've
40
read
Rules of Love.
Both a little bit. Like here and there, people quoting them.
Very fascinating.
Yeah.
Very fascinating.
So that state basically is achieved through the repetition of some surat or some ayat.
Okay.
They say, and like when I went to अभी गया था मैं लाल शहबाज कलंदर के मज़ार पे.
अच्छा.
और वहाँ पे ये लोग ये इसी तरह का कर रहे थे, घूम रहे थे. And then they were also smoking hash.
Okay.
So there was artificial, there was hash being smoked. So I was like, अच्छा चलो, I guess there's drugs in it as well.
Yeah.
So they were smoking hash, and this one guy had like एक हाथ के अंदर he had like joints just like filled up, and he's passing his hand around, like this, and people would be doing, and they'd like, I'm assuming it's very strong, and then they'd spin around. And they're spinning, and then they repeat an ayat over and over and over again, and then they puke out of, I'm assuming, motion sickness.
Yeah.
And they achieve the state that supposedly jiske andar you can actually correct your spirit better, and then you can also, the true meaning of the ayat that you've been reciting over and over again. Zikr में भी करते हैं ना, बार-बार एक चीज बोलते हैं. वो true meaning आपको उसी state में समझ आता है.
It's a form of meditation as well, na?
Yeah. So that's what they believe. I mean, and I haven't done it yet. So I want to try it out at some point.
You should take me with you.
I mean, let's do it.
I'm down.
It's just that I'm
not going to do drugs, but I'm going to spin around.
This puke smell and everything just kind of takes away from...
We'll wear a mask.
I'm like a clean guy. I'm like, oh, lightly treading over the ulti. I'm like, oh, thodi si aur ulti hai. What's that guy doing? Oh man, he looks
very weird. That's a very weird tradition.
It's a strange...
Hey, let's smoke and puke.
and get like the understanding of spirit. But I was sitting there, I felt a presence for sure. And I talked about this in a vlog that I did as well, where I'm like sitting around, and like I was also slightly sick from flu and stuff. Maybe that had something to do with it, but there was a different state that my being had gone into. just sitting there at the mazar.
Acha, over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't do any of the
It
other
does,
stuff.
man. It's all about the surrounding as well. It's all
Yeah.
about कि आप किस तरह की state में हो, आप किस तरह की जगह पे हो. You start to feel the same way the people are feeling. It's all about the energy. Hey guys, you're watching the Honest Hour Clips channel. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel. और अगर आप लोगों को ये original podcast देखनी है तो find the link in the description.
Same.